Hey everyone, welcome to this shortwave radio channel, and this is a review of the Radiwow R108 receiver. This little ultralight radio is, of course, a nice little radio to have in your collection. I'll give you the straight talk of what's good, what's bad, and we'll have a little discussion here and a review of this thing. So, first of all, if we look at it, of course, numeric keypad, which is very nice. We've got, of course, all the buttons for the memory, for changing the bandwidth, the up-down buttons for scanning or for moving up and down the frequency ranges. We have the power button, the lock key. We have, of course, the display key. We have a tuning knob right here. It actually has a depress that you can click to fast, slow, or lock the frequency. Volume control. This is a little charging port, and on the other side you've got the antenna jack and you've got the earphone jack. A little telescopic antenna, and it's powered by a very unique, looks like a cell phone lithium-ion battery that you see here. So that's why it's rechargeable. You plug it on either a rechargeable power supply. You can plug it on your computer or tablet, and it's going to recharge from it. So what do I think after using this for a few weeks now? I've of course come to my verdict. So first of all, this is a $40 to $60 radio depending where you buy it. Some people have had some really great deals and got it even lower priced. So that's the first thing to know. It does not have single sideband. That's the other thing that's very important to understand. It receives long wave, medium wave, short wave, FM, plus the airband, which is kind of cool because you can listen to, if you live near an airport, you can listen to the aircrafts moving around. The battery life is good. So even though the battery is rather small, I've had easily, I let it on for 12 hours one day, tuning around, and even when I would not tune around, I just left it there with a comfortable volume, I would say, and left it on for maybe for a good 12 hours, and it still had battery life in it. I've never actually used it and ran out of batteries, but that said, you will have to remember to charge it every day if you use it every day, because you will eventually run out of batteries for sure, and just recharge it when you don't use it, and it'll always be full charge. Full coverage of the shortwave bands, and that I like. What I mean by that is that if you actually go to the shortwave bands, so let's go here to shortwave bands, you can actually tune all the way up to 29,999. So it's kind of a general coverage receiver, all the way from the long wave band down to the upper shortwave bands at 29,999. That means you're not limited to the international broadcast bands. You're tuning everywhere. I like that. I wish most radios would do that rather than have specific bands, because often they actually miss out on the bands. Sometimes the international broadcast bands are too small. So that's really cool. It's a Dsp Based Receiver. What does that mean? It's a digital signal processing chip that's in here. It's in the family of the 40 silicon integrators, 47, 34, 35, and so on, DSP chip that is in reality a AM FM airband radio in a chip, and it has digital signal processing capabilities, which does a few things that are good and a few things that are bad. The good part is the selectable bandwidth. You can select here. So look at the bandwidth in the screen: 4, 3, 2, 1 kilohertz bandwidth, and back to up to 6. So this is really fun, because that means if you are listening to a signal that's very close to another one, you can actually make the bandwidth smaller and avoid the interference from that other signal, and that is a really good thing. There's a compromise: the smaller the bandwidth, the less the audio quality is good. That's normal. You're clipping down the amount of information you're getting. It's the way it works, and every receiver will be like that, even high-end radios. Its shortwave sensitivity is very good. I've tested out, and of course what's going to be coming in the next few days and weeks is comparing this radio to other radios, including one that I want to compare it with, which is the Texan PL380. I was looking if I had it here, but it's in the kitchen. That for me is probably the closest competition to the Radiwow R108. It's very sensitive. Pretty much everything that any portable can receive, this will receive. It's good enough for that. No problem. As for medium wave, it seems to be okay. I will need to do more tests and more, professional testing, if you want, to really get a good grasp. But if you are a medium wave listener that likes to have stations in the evening coming over, and from here in Montreal we get New York stations easily and stuff like that. If you look at or listen to the regular stations coming in from long distance in the evening, it does a job. It will actually bring in that station that you want. Long wave, very difficult to assess. I got too much noise. I can't really, say anything about it much. But it does receive the long wave beacons that you actually, that I actually can hear on other radios. So that's good news. And by the way, the medium wave band is selectable 9 or 10 kilohertz, depending on if you're in Europe or in North America. FM is pretty good. The way I've tested the FM, that I always test the FM, is by testing it out with some of the stations I listen to from Vermont, which is now I'm close to the computer. It doesn't receive it really well, but it does get the 107.9 Burlington VPR station quite easily.
That the foundation is working toward. How do you nullify?
You can see it here, and I actually closed the antenna, so it works well. No problem there. It has fast, slow tuning, so 1 kilohertz, 5 kilohertz tuning. How does it work? Well, you simply depress the tuning knob. So when you press, it clicks, and it will tell you fast. So right now it's at slow, lock, and or stop in fast. Fast is 5 kilohertz. Slow is of course 1 kilohertz at a time. So this is nice because you can fine tune easily. Good idea to have actually added that by a press of the tuning knob. It's actually a good ergonomic feature to have it there. Up down buttons, of course, available for tuning, so you can use the up down buttons, and of course if you press and hold, it will actually scan, but it scans the international broadcast bands. Okay, that's one thing to know, and it will stop on the signal that it receives, of course. 500 memories, I never really use them in most radios because of the shortwave schedules that change all the time. I tend to never really use the memories in any of these shortwave radios, except maybe for FM and AM stations, pretty much. The display is very beautiful, very nice. As you see here, for example, I've got the temperature, a very nice and very big frequency display. But if I press the display button, I will have either the signal to noise ratio. Right now it's at 0 because I'm receiving nothing. You have a clock, so you can display the clock if you wish, which is also nice because I like to have the UTC clock displayed while I'm tuning the bands. I always know what time it is. And of course you can have, there's the alarm, and there's back to the temperature, of course, once again. So the signal meter in here is a signal to noise ratio meter, and I need to do a video to explain that because a lot of you have difficulty understanding what the numbers mean, and we'll try to do that. Alarm in sleep functionality, so you can have it up to 2 hours before it actually shuts off by itself. You have alarm features. You can actually have the radio wake you up by beeps or by the radio. Now you've noticed that I've had some beeps when I press some buttons sometimes. Now I don't right now. You can turn off the beeps. So a lot of people are saying it's annoying. I hear you, when you press the buttons to choose a frequency, you got the beeps. well, you can actually just disable the beeps, so don't worry about that. Keypad entry, really nice, functions well. Response is good. That also is really nice. I like the fact that there's an antenna jack, so you can actually plug in an antenna. It actually comes with, and I've got one here, a wire. So these little black wires are 2 wires, and they come, one came with the Radiwow, the other one came with the XH data. They are included in the box, and they actually improve reception quite a lot, so it's fun to use them and to plug them in the antenna jack. And if you have an external antenna that has a plug, you can actually use this, which is a very nice add-on. Headphones, very nice. Stereo through the headphones, very beautiful sound. And that's the good part. Now, what negative part do I have on this radio? I got a few things. Muting when it's tuning. So, if I put the volume up and start tuning around, you notice that it's actually muting the audio. And that is something that you don't like and that I don't like in a receiver. I wish it would have worked to remove the muting every time you tune, because it is a little annoying to have that muting. Here, some of you that follow me for a while totally know that I got FM station breakthrough on some shortwave receivers. I got some really strong FM stations in Montreal. This receiver has FM stations breakthrough on the shortwave bands. That is one of the negative sides of the radio. So around 7-8 megahertz, it's difficult for me to tune in a signal because I do have some breakthrough of FM. Now I can mitigate that by, simply moving the radio around a little bit or changing the antenna orientation. But keep in mind, if you got some breakthrough on some radios in your home because you live near an FM station, this radio is sensitive to that, and you'll have some breakthrough in the FM band, unfortunately. It's not as bad as some other radios that I've got, but it's clearly not what you want. That's for sure. Audio is muffled. It's kind of missing the high frequencies. So even with the wider, even if you put the wider bandwidth, it still sounds like something's clipping off the high frequency end. And so the audio is good, it's nice, but it just lacks a little bit of response on the higher frequency ranges to have a more beautiful sound, more natural sound. Of course, you can compensate with that by putting or plugging in some earphones that will, of course, have better sound quality. Why the hell do we have to do this? This is one of the, it's a minor annoyance, but why do I have to press the frequency key to then enter a frequency on the radio and then press the frequency key again, unless it's a 5-digit frequency? Every radio, most radios understand that, you'll enter a frequency, at least just let me enter the frequency directly here. And, now it doesn't. Why do I have to press twice frequency? Just put an enter key. At the worst, put an enter key. Let me just punch in the frequency and press enter. Now you got to press frequency, enter the frequency, and frequency again if it's only 4-digit. If it's at, for example, if I do the same but with 15,000 kilohertz, it does the enter automatically at that range. But, come on, okay? We're in 2019 here. Stop putting these extra steps in buttons. There's a better way to tune around. That is a minor annoyance, but it's still an annoyance. What I don't like, the battery. You guys have been, a lot of you have been, well, it's okay, you just get extra batteries in. No, still, you know what? It is an annoyance for me that they use these types of batteries. Because, yeah, you can get some of those somewhere. And I do say somewhere because you got to find where. And it's not everybody that buys a radio like this that really knows where they'll get a battery like this. You got to think functionality rather than, oh, it's cool, they have included lithium-ion battery. Yeah, but functionality first. which means I would have preferred this thing to run on AA batteries. Why? Because it's simply easy to find anywhere you go. You know, go on a DXpedition, you forget to recharge it, you go on the DXpedition. Well, you're, you know, basically having a useless box if you didn't recharge it, because you'll not be able to recharge it in the middle of the woods. And even if there would be a store next to you, there's no possibility they'll have this weird battery. They'll have regular AA batteries. Okay, plus or minus. Some people like this. I don't. I would prefer AA batteries. I'm sorry, but that should be the case for everything like this. Plus the fact that, you know, when the battery will wear out, you'll have to get yourself another lithium-ion battery like that, which, you know, in 5 years' time, will it be easy to find again? That's also something you got to think about. You know, if it's not conventional, it could be difficult to find sometimes. And AA batteries are everywhere, and they'll be everywhere in 25 years, you know. Just a few things like that. I like the fact that it has a lighted display. I would have enjoyed if it could stay on. It doesn't. It stays on for like 10 or 15 seconds, turns off. I would have enjoyed to have a, you know, little button that I press and I just leave it on if I want all the time. I understand it's for battery life. Still, you know. But overall, if I have to give a verdict of what this thing is, it's actually a pretty good radio. The Radiwow R108 does impress me somewhat for its size, price, and the capabilities that it has. The airband capability of listening to, you know, airplanes, kind of cool actually. So great for travel, not very expensive. You're looking for a good radio. I would go personally for a Texan PL380 rather, but this is a very good radio and you'll be happy with it and you'll have a lot of fun. And if you purchased one of these and waiting for it, I think you're going to like it. Okay, honestly, it is still pretty good ultra light portable receiver. So that's my review of the Radiwow R108. Hope you enjoyed. Detailed review. What I think and what I would like to have changed or different in it, but still, I love the radio. I'm happy to own this, and it will be part of some of the radios I will use regularly, that's for sure. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.